Y'all, I swear this is not a ranting session. I actually love Raleigh, but if you're considering moving here, then you absolutely should not move here before you watch this video, because I'm going to tell you all the different reasons why you don't want to move to Raleigh so you can make an informed decision. Reason number one is that a lot of people are moving here, and while that is a good thing, that means that we're going to have some growth-related issues in the coming years. We're going to have stress on our infrastructure. We're going to have a lot of changes to our road systems, our public transportation, our economy in general is going to have to go through some changes. You're going to see more traffic. You're going to see increases in home prices and in the affordability of the area. On the plus side, of course, you'll have more appreciation, more job opportunities, but every pro has its con. Con number two about Raleigh, North Carolina is that it has a medium-sized city kind of vibe. If you're coming from somewhere like New York, or in my case, Dallas, Texas, which is the fourth largest metroplex in the entire US, then it feels smaller being in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're not terribly tiny, and if you consider Durham and Chapel Hill, which makes up what we call the Triangle, then this metroplex is roughly 2.5 million people. That's not horrible, but it is a little more laid back, and we don't have as robust of a downtown as you might find in other cities. And because of all the trees that we have, everything feels a little more spread out and secluded. If you want to be surrounded by stuff, things going on, businesses, lights, all that kind of stuff, then you might not get that vibe here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Con number three, although I love the weather here, we do have hot, muggy, warm summers.
Across the entire area, in fact, heat advisory this afternoon feels like about 105 to 107 right in the middle of the afternoon.
Temperatures in the mid-20s to low 30s. Be prepared for some of the coldest temperatures we've seen.
I come from Texas where it's routinely 110 degrees. It isn't that bad, and that's a win. But if you're coming from anywhere more north or more central, you might find that it gets warmer here than you expected. It's still routinely in the 90s. It can get up into 100 degrees, and that humidity, being a coastal state, does play a part in it too. We still get rain, we're still susceptible to hurricanes, although we don't kind of get a lot of hurricanes or tornadoes, which is nice. And it still does get cold here in the winter as well. So if you're avoiding the cold completely, go south, go to Florida or Dallas, okay? We get snow, it's like 6 inches, so if you're looking for a lot of snow, then you're not gonna get it. And if you're looking for no snow, then you might be disappointed there too. But if you want a city with all 4 seasons, so you can really experience the ups and downs of fall and winter and spring and summer, then you will find that here in Raleigh. Okay, let's talk about traffic next. Con number 4 is that we definitely have some congestion, and because we're growing, that's going to be an increased issue in coming years, which is exactly why they're building a new highway via the south side of Raleigh to kind of complete what we call the outer belt, so that we can get more people on the roads and have less traffic. Back when I lived in Dallas, you usually had like 3 or 4 different interstates that could take you to your destination. Here, it's very often the case that there's only one way to get there, and if everybody's trying to get there, then you have no choice but to just sit in traffic and wait your turn. Con number 5, if you were looking at moving here, like I was, because wow, it has the beach and it has the mountains, that's a big draw for a lot of people like it was for me. But if you can only go weekends, and that's your only time to go hit the beach or hit the mountains, it's you and everybody else. You're going to be sitting in traffic, even though it's the weekend. You're going to be fighting for a spot at the beach, or, fighting to rent a cabin or whatever the case may be, because you're just in the same boat as everybody else. And a lot of people move here thinking they're going to go every weekend, and 2 or 3 hours is still 4 or 6 hours round trip. It's still a big enough trip that you might not go as often as you originally planned on it. So if you're dead set on moving to the beach or the mountains and you're a retiree, maybe go to Wilmington or go to Asheville. But if you're looking for that middle ground that's still affordable and close to that kind of stuff, then please come to Raleigh. Now next we can talk about crime. And Raleigh does rank lower than the national average on crime, and that's a great thing. And I do feel very safe here. Of course though, the thing about safety is that it's not exactly a definite number, right? It's all about perspective, your background. Some areas may feel safe to you and they don't to me, or vice versa. I will say there's obviously going to be pockets of our city, just like any other city, where you may not feel safe. And you're welcome to look up resources online and kind of dig into that data. Just be careful because sometimes they're very, very skewed. For example, right near a mall, it may light up red because there's a lot of credit card theft or people stealing from the shops and shoplifting. That doesn't mean the area is bad. It doesn't mean you shouldn't buy a home near that mall. Just something to think about. Con number 8, I came from Dallas, which has an international airport that's really a major hub in the US, so you have a lot of options and cheap flights. Now I go to RDU, which is our airport here in Raleigh-Durham, and it's just not as robust. There was a point in time where it was more of a hub in the US, but now I typically find that there's not a lot of flight options, especially if you're flying with one of those low fare flights. Usually there's only one airplane for that specific route, and if that doesn't work out, like they're delayed or something, you're out of options. There's not a lot of dining options or shopping options, and they usually close pretty early, which is unfortunate. Again, I don't think anyone necessarily moves to a city for the airport unless they're maybe a stewardess or something like that, but it's just something to keep in mind. Alright, final con, last reason why I wouldn't move to Raleigh, or at least something you need to know before you do. Our average home price is higher than the national average. Now our cost of living is just a little bit higher than that average, but the main reason for that is our housing. This does make it definitely harder for low-income people or younger people to get started in real estate in the Raleigh market. What I did was I started off with a cheap apartment, I got a 6-month lease, I gave myself some time to figure out the job situation, get the income in place, get to know the area, and then I explored a lot. I'm an agent, so I was able to go look at houses all the time, look at different suburbs, figure out where the good pockets were that was still affordable for someone like me. And if you're considering a move to Raleigh or looking for your next or first home in Raleigh, then that's exactly what me and my team can do for you. You can call the number right below me, or you could click the link in the description to set up a quick consultation with me and my team so we can help you get started. If you have more questions, throw them down in the comments, and for more Raleigh real estate content, click this video next.